Just give it a moment while everyone comes in from the waiting room. As a reminder, please mute. Good afternoon. This is the voting meeting of the Boston Cannabis Board. Today is Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. Today's hearing is being recorded to certain temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing is being recorded and we posted to the City of Boston's website. While this hearing is open to the public and the public are welcome and encouraged to attend, no additional testimony will be taken today. Again, thank you everyone for your patience and your flexibility. Before I review some procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman Kathleen Joyce.
Thanks everyone. And again, my apologies for our delay in getting started today. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm chair of the Boston Cannabis Board. And today I am pleased to be joined by my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Lisa Holmes, Commissioner Darlene Lombos, Commissioner John Smith, and Commissioner Alejandro St. Gian. And we're also joined today by the Boston Cannabis Board's project manager, Jasmine Nguyen.
Thank you. As a procedural matter, I will read each item into the record. I will then ask for comments from the chairwoman and each commissioner. Following the comments, I will ask for a motion. I will then ask for any questions on the motion. We will then see if there is a second for the motion. The options for any application are to grant with certain conditions, to reject without prejudice, which means the applicant can reapply at any time, to reject with prejudice, which means that the applicant cannot reapply at that specific location for 1 year, or to defer. A deferral can either be for a specific amount of time at the board's discretion, or until the applicant has completed any additional steps that the board deems necessary in order to fully consider the application. Calling item 1, the applicant is AJO Holdings, Inc. The license premise is 50 Clapp Street, Dorchester. This is an existing medical cannabis dispensary license. The request is to remove 2 conditions on the host community agreement. The first is section 22, item 6, the $40 minimum purchase. And the second is section 22, item 8, the 2-year moratorium on seeking approval for adult use sales. Chairwoman Joyce?
Thanks, Leslie. I'll jump in here with my thoughts on removing these 2 restrictions. I'm not comfortable right now with removing these restrictions. I take to heart what was promised to the community when these applicants go before their neighbors and their abutters. There might have been some confusion in how things were presented last week, but I did go back. I listened to the community meeting that was in March. I also went back and researched some of the articles that were written about from the original community meetings in 2017 and their testimony at the Board of Appeals in 2018. And this was not put on the applicant by the previous iteration of the Boston Cannabis Board. This was something they offered to the community. It was a very close vote in the community. I think Attorney Ross or the applicant's representative, Alex Hardy, actually stated that the community voted for this by 1 vote, and that the $40 minimum and the 2-year moratorium were things that they sort of offered up to the community at that time. But back to the $40 minimum and what the CCC does allow and doesn't allow, I won't take up time right now to get into that, but I do think it's very important for the applicant to, because they have a $40 minimum and it's a medical place, that they do need to provide us with what their discount program is going to be, because it is true. You don't want to make this a deterrent to someone who can't afford and has a medical card to purchase things here. So we will be looking for what that plan is. And as far as the 2-year moratorium, in my opinion, I understand what's been going on with COVID, but I think all applicants have been facing the same challenges with delays. I don't think it's unique to this particular applicant. So those are some of my feelings on the request to remove those 2 conditions.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Commissioner Holmes?
I will defer to the chairwoman's thoughts on this, but I did have my own thought about not dropping the $40 minimum. We have placed that restriction on other cannabis establishments throughout the city, whether it be medical or recreational, and I just think we should stick to that. So that one, I definitely wasn't willing to give up on. As far as a 2-year wait. Like I said, I wasn't privy to what happened prior to them coming forward to the board, but I deferred to the chairwoman who has gone back and listened to the community meeting. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Smith.
Thank you. Yes, I too defer to the chairwoman and I agree with her point of view.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner St. Guillen.
Thank you. I had a slightly different opinion. I think that it's very empathetic to the fact that COVID has, I know it's been an impact on everybody, but given the timing of the community meeting and the appeals, I thought the spirit of the 2-year has been fulfilled, even if the exact timing hasn't. And for the $40 minimum, I was torn a little bit because I can see how with medical marijuana, that is definitely a restriction that we wouldn't want to place on people who are seeking marijuana for medical reasons. And I wouldn't have a problem with eliminating it from their medical license, but would want to implement it for if they were to have a recreational license. So I don't know what my vote will be, but I did feel like the spirit of the 2-year minimum was met, and would vote to lift that in the $40. I will defer to the chairwoman on that one.
Thank you. Commissioner Lombos.
Thanks so much. I mostly, I would defer, but mostly my thoughts are that this was done before this board was put together. I would hate to try to make a decision based on things that I had not, listened to or heard in the past. And so that's mostly my position. I do defer to the chair on this because you did look back at those community meetings, but just on principle, it's not a decision we made or worked on. And so I would like to just stick with what was what the agreement was with the community at that time.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Chairwoman Joyce, do you have a motion?
I do. I don't know how to form this motion, Leslie, but I make a motion to reject the removal of the condition of the minimum $40 purchase. And do you want me to do them together? And I make a motion to reject the removal of the 2-year moratorium at this point.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Darlene.
Commissioner Lombos. There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? I'm sorry, Commissioner St. Guillen, did you?
Can we abstain? No.
Okay, yes, you may. So the request is rejected at this time. The second item is Zip Run Inc. The proposed license premise is 1170 William T. Morrissey Boulevard, Dorchester. The proposed license type is the courier model delivery. Proposed hours of operation are 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is a certified equity applicant. The date of the initial application was January 27th, 2021. The date of the community meeting was March 24th, 2021. As this is a courier model only, this does not require a filing with inspectional services or the zoning board of appeals. Chairwoman Joyce.
Thanks, Leslie. I was happy to see this application come before us and to read through the applicant's proposal. That really does not have a lot of great impact on the neighborhood. And I think it's a unique opportunity to allow someone to get into the business early on. There seems to be plenty of parking. The transportation plan seems to match the type of proposal. Again, the location, safety, and security sort of hit all the high points that I think I would be looking for with a courier model. I just want to note for the record, we did have support from the local elected official, and while there was a lack of community organizational support. I don't think that reflected the operator or the impacts on the neighborhood. I think it was just the inability for the applicant to connect with the neighborhood associations in a valuable way. The employment plan was impressive, and I think that's all I have to say on this one.
Thank you. Commissioner Holmes?
Yeah, I agree. Great employment plan. I think these young men have a great business vision going forward here. And again, this isn't going to have much impact on the community, as there is no marijuana stored at this location, and they're basically just going to be couriers back and forth from select cannabis locations. So I thought it was a very creative business model that they have reached, and it's very impressive.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Smith?
Thank you. Yes, I agree. Great growth plan, looking over everything that I've read. Creative use of technology. It's a new business, new type of business for us to be looking at. And I thought that, you know, in terms of their training and the scholarships that they're going to give, was very impressed by their employment plan and their plans for their future growth. So overall, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner St. Kian?
Not much to add. They scored very high on all the different aspects of the scoring sheet for me. I think it was a really great application and opportunity for people to get in the industry.
Thank you. Commissioner Lambos?
Yes, same. And the only thing I would like to point out and highlight was how great it is to see that these drivers are full-time employees, and the status as employees in this industry of drivers and couriers. We see so much that is misclassified as independent contractors. So I'm really just want to highlight that and commend this company for doing that. So thank you.
Thank you. Chairwoman Joyce, do you have a motion?
I make a motion to grant this license.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. The license is granted. Item 3, the applicant is Rooted In LLC. The proposed license premise is 195 Dudley Street, Roxbury. The application is for a recreational cannabis dispensary license with proposed hours of operation of Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Sunday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is an equity applicant. The date of initial application was May 10th, 2019. The date of filing with Inspectional Services was June 6, 2019. The date of the community meetings were August 6, 2019 and March 24, 2021. There is a buffer zone conflict with this applicant. Chairwoman Joyce?
Thanks, Leslie. I'm going to try to get all my thoughts out here. I think the operators have a strong track record of being good community members and good business people. Putting that aside, taking a look at their business plan, I think that has a lot of strengths as well. I have a real problem with this location. I know that the CCC changed their rules to allow a cannabis establishment at the site and within this close proximity to a school. I know that is the state of the cannabis industry today. But looking at this through a licensing perspective, I have real concerns. I've raised these concerns with other applications in other neighborhoods. And I have a really hard time with this location. Because they're an equity applicant and they've mentioned things like the transportation study that they're doing, I'm willing to continue to look at this, but I have the limitations of this application for me, it's hard to get past them because of not only the opposition from a lot of the neighbors in the community and people in the community, but just the actual location. I just think there's better spots for it. I do want to point out there was a lot of support as well, but I want to let you know that I read all that support. A lot of it was form letters. A lot of it spoke to the applicant, not to the site. And as a siting authority, I really take to task looking at this specific site and concerns that come with this particular site, not with the applicants and their other site in other parts of the city. There was a lot of that, but this reminds me of some of the issues that we raised as a group with the application by Sanctuary in Chinatown. And there wasn't even a school buffer zone conflict there. So that's what I have to say about this application.
Thank you. Commissioner Holmes?
Again, the chairwoman is echoing some of my thoughts. I think everything with the exception of this location for this business is fine. The real stickler here is this location. That is such a congested area. And it's just, I just don't think the location is suitable. Business plan, everything else is perfect. This location, to me, is horrible.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Thank you. Same, I think everything comes down to location, location, location. I don't personally think that it's horrible, but, and having driven around there and worked around there and, you know, I think cannabis retail dispensaries don't present so much as a traffic and people problem, actually having investigated some of the ones that that exist right now. So I'm not comfortable saying that it's all about location for me, even though that definitely came out of the presentation and in terms of the opposition. I feel like they've addressed some of the things in their follow-up in terms of closing during school times and adjusting their schedules and things like that. So I was actually comfortable when they sent the addendum and I read it, and so sort of mitigating the impact on young people, and then sort of figuring out that the buses actually pick people up at the schools and things like that. So I became much more comfortable, even though I understand the location issues. So that's what I'll say for now.
Thank you. Commissioner Sankian?
I agree with Commissioner Smith. I wholeheartedly understand the opposition in terms of the location. I do want to emphasize that there was significant support as well. I look at, Nubian Square is rapidly changing, and there's a need to maintain an identity in there, and I believe having Black-owned businesses predominantly within Nubian Square is super important. So that for me is a plus. I do think the traffic is terrible. I know that's going to be for a lot of the cities, a lot of the areas. So I'm glad to see that they're doing a traffic study. I would also encourage instead for all of the queuing to be virtual queuing. I think that would help mitigate also not having lines. I think there's perceptions of what cannabis establishments look like and the people that go to them. And I think those are a lot of assumptions are not actually based in reality or fact. So, but I do think perhaps a place that is so busy and to give the opportunity for the coupon program to really work would be great to have all virtual queuing for the location, given the small size of the waiting area. So in spite of the opposition, I support the project.
Thank you. Commissioner Lambos?
Let's see, not too much to say. I think everybody said it. I would like to just point out just what high scores this applicant got from me in both the diversity and inclusion and the employment. I mean, the highest marks. I just love the Haley House model around the training, just strong, thoughtful D&I. And so it did come down to some of the public comment and also, the location. And I'd really love to see this business and the operators have a good location. I tried to get some understanding about the security too and the transportation. I do think the area is congested. I live in Roxbury and I'm down Dudley all the time. And so I would like to see the traffic study. I think that would really help. I would like to see the traffic study, and I think that the supplemental information, if there was some way to share that with the community folks who were in opposition, if that's acceptable. I really think it really shows the applicant's willingness to respond to and be part of the community. So I really appreciated the supplemental information. Those are my comments. I think I agree with all of you on this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chairwoman Joyce, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to defer this application until, I think there's a community meeting actually this week, and also to get some more information out of the traffic study that they mentioned during the hearing.
So this would be a motion to defer pending the additional community meetings and the completion of a traffic study. And as a certified equity applicant, this applicant is eligible for technical assistance. And I do just want to note for the record, the technical assistance program has come a significant way since the first request for a traffic study. So that will not be as lengthy given the RFP process that they've undergone process as it could have previously been. Are there any questions regarding the motion? Seeing none, is there a second for the motion?
I would second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So Commissioner Smith, I might have missed your vote.
So I'm voting, if I defer, if I vote no, I'm voting. That means that,
If you can vote no to defer, and you can identify what your motion would otherwise be, although the motion will carry, but that will still be recorded for the record.
okay. So I would vote no to defer. And I think, you know, again, given their ability to, and what they said supplementally, to work with the condition that they continue to work with the community.
Great, so the motion to defer pending the additional community meeting and the completion of a traffic study does carry. Commissioner Smith votes no to defer, but instead votes to grant with a condition that the applicant continue working with the community. And that will be recorded. Under old and new business, there is a motion to promulgate a draft amendment to the rules and regulations regarding delivery and to open a public comment period regarding the same. This public comment period will be 30 days, will be posted on the board's website, as well as the Boston Herald. This would be the addition of section 3.09, delivery. No licensee in the city of Boston, including but not limited to recreational cannabis dispensaries, manufacturers, and cultivators, may engage in the delivery of recreational cannabis, including through a licensed courier or delivery operator, without the express written permission of the Boston Cannabis Board. Again, this would be opened up to a public comment period. Currently, the way that delivery works, if there is a licensed delivery operator in another city, he or she can dispatch their vehicles to dispensaries in the city of Boston, and we have no regulatory authority. So if we have a situation where someone from another municipality is queuing outside and causing traffic issues, or there are issues with the way they're operating, this board has no authority to in any way discipline or call for a hearing of that dispensary. So this is for consideration that would allow for the board to have some regulatory authority over delivery outside of the city coming into the city. And again, this will be open to a public comment period. Is there a motion to open the public comment period and post the draft regulation?
I make a motion to open the public comment and post the draft regulations.
Thank you. All in favor? And none opposed. The motion carries. Again, this will be posted on the website, the Boston Herald, and every licensee everyone who signed up for our email group will be sent notice. Those are all the items today before the Boston Cannabis Board. Thank you to the chairwoman and commissioners and everyone who attended. Again, thank you everyone for your patience, and we apologize for the delay in beginning. Thank you very much and have a good day.